You can see. There you go. Matt is actually just started studying for his license. So, Matt, you're almost done, right? That's a no.
I am not almost done.
It's a little joke we have because he said he was going to zoom through it and get it done right away. So,
It's only been a week.
hopefully by the end of the year, has it been a week yet? Hopefully by the end of the year, you'll be seeing Matt joining us in person live, but in the meantime, he's going to be studying. And then Jared and Hannah, his lovely wife, Maddie is going to be joining us. Hopefully by the end of the year too, right, Jared?
Yeah, and it's Maddie here actually.
And Maddie,
We've got
awesome.
a sick baby, so he went up to take care of the sick baby, and I'm here joining, and he'll be back in a minute probably.
That's so sweet. I love it. So excited to have you guys join us too. And then Brian. So you guys online, so you know.
Brian, just an afterthought.
And Brian, well, these are newies you guys don't know, right? Brian's been with us for a little while now. And then here in person, we have Cody and Megan and Masha and Mark and Michaela. And then I think it was on Tuesday's meeting, correct?
Correct.
And it was a surprise to me. I didn't know that Josh had this. Tuesday's meeting. Yay. Josh brought up his little plan that you guys have here in person. I think has it been brought up?
Yeah, I'll run this.
Let's go ahead and share
Drag it
screen.
over here.
Well, and then share the screen so those online actually get to see it because they can't see this wall.
Okay.
Share this screen right here. So then if you drag anything else over, we can just automatically.
Okay.
There
There we go.
you go.
All right.
Can you guys see that online? So I thought this was really cool. It's a little bit different than what we have here at KW. I sent Austin a GPS and a 411, and extras will be printed out in the files outside my door if you guys want another one, or if you don't want to make your own copies, because every week going forward after Thanksgiving, because we don't have groups next week, we don't have classes next week, everyone will be bringing in their 411 action worksheet to the group meetings. Okay. And this is just another way of being accountable to what you guys want to achieve and what you want to do. And we'll just look at each week and it'll be really quick. What was your goal? Did you do it? Why not? What are you going to do different? Plain and simple, right? But in order to achieve this and know what this is, we need to know what your one thing is, right? And those of you that attended the business planning clinic, you know, that was just one little tiny piece of planning your entire business. So then there's the GPS that you guys have as well. Blank one, right? GPS, goals, priorities, and strategies. Your one thing is your main goal, and your main goal needs to be something that drives you to do business, right? What drives you? So figure that out. What if this doesn't happen at the end of the year? Next year. This is all planning for next year. What happens if this doesn't happen at the end of next year? How are you going to feel? Will it affect your family? Will it affect you? Right? So, and we really want this to be kind of like really deep and personal to you guys, because I want you to look at this every day, or the days that you're struggling and you don't know what you're doing, and say, that has to happen. Then we look at, what do I need to do to make that happen? And then we take that and we come over here to this, and we're bringing it down to weekly activities that we need to do. And you could break it down even further and make it into daily activities that you need to do to be able to come back and make this happen at the end of the year. It doesn't have to be money. Some people it might be, right? I want $100,000 in my bank account, or at least that it processed through the bank account, right? that is a very, very achievable goal. We just did that, I think on Tuesday. My days get mixed up with you guys. And I plugged it into Command, and it's 11 transactions with an average sales price of 500,000. 11 in 1 year. Your net profit could be $100,000. Who doesn't want that? What do you guys think online?
I'm all for that.
Right? Okay, but some people having that number, the money scares them, or it's not, "Oh, it's money, I'll never get that, I've never had it," or maybe it's not enough. Your first year, you guys, that's a fantastic goal to reach for, to strive for, okay? Maybe it needs to be less. Maybe it needs to be a vacation. Maybe it needs to be multiple vacations, right? Maybe it needs to be tuition, a new car, a down payment on a house, right? Whatever it is that's going to drive you to do this. A family vacation, maybe not just a family vacation, maybe it's a vacation for your entire family, like your parents and your family and your sisters, right? I mean, whatever it is, if you need a bigger goal, because we can go on some pretty great vacations for a fairly inexpensive amount of money. One transaction can take my family on a vacation. You guys all saw what I did on my last one. That wasn't even one full transaction. You too can do that with me. Who wants to go scuba diving next September? All right. We're going back. Buy one, get one free. Seriously, it's BOGO at this resort. So, and it's all food, all alcohol, right? And the dive package is $2,100 for 2 people in that lovely resort that you guys saw I was at to go scuba diving. Well, you don't have to scuba dive. It's cheaper if you don't dive, right? And you can snorkel. But I mean, like, that's inexpensive. That's not even, and then the airfare, you know, with the total package, it was probably, well, we did a detour in Dallas with a really nice dinner. So it was probably about $4K total for that amazing trip where I got to hug a sloth. You too can have that, right? That's my one thing. That's my goal. So to see how that's my tangible, that's me outside of what I do with you guys, go find a couple transactions a year to fund these fun things. So find what it is too, that it means something to be able, and put that at the top. If you're visual, turn it into a vision board. Put it on your wall. Put it at your cubby. Come into the office and sit in there and look at that every day, 3 times a week, right? Have it something that actually makes you want to work. And if you're struggling with that, that's our one-on-one, right? What do we need to do to change that? And then come to all the group coaching and the classes, because we'll give you the tools and the training and everything you need to be able to achieve this stuff, right? So what I liked about Josh's thing, we'll go right into that since he has it over here, is, I don't have a copy.
Here you go.
Here, is this actually went a little bit deeper into, you want to scroll up a page?
Yep.
Into how to find your one thing, right? What kind of lifestyle does that look like for you? In 1 year, let's do 1 year. If you want to go out and do 5 years, you can do that. What is it going to take to get to there? What excites you? What drives you or motivates you? This is basically the one thing book broken down and thrown into a quick little pamphlet for you, which I loved. And that's why I'm like, Josh, I was texting him during the meeting while he was online. I was hoping it wasn't going to ding on your screen and show up. Tanya's texting you. Can you please bring that?
I've got you in silent. So.
No, you don't know. Wow. So this pamphlet, do you want to talk about it? Or
Sure.
It's your thing, not mine.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, business planning, and this sort of particular pamphlet, as Tanya mentioned, you know, and how this sort of helps to complement some of the things you guys are already doing. Arturo, can I switch with you here?
You're gonna scroll.
Yeah, if you could, yeah, scroll and then drag over that one eventually here. So, okay. I love 411, the GPS, and and the one thing. There's lots, like I said on the Tuesday call, there's lots of business planning and coaching and all those things out there that
This is business planning. right here.
that you could class yourself to, into oblivion. There's so much information. It could just be information overload. So I was listening to a podcast this week for my BNI group that I'm part of. And one of the things they talked about was what's the best follow-up system out there? I'm sure some of you have heard that. And people would throw out, oh, it's handwritten notes, it's email, it's text messages, phone calls, whatever the case may be. But what they came back and decided was the best follow-up plan is the one that you're going to actually do. Right?
It's true.
Because you can get coached to death on doing it X way, but if X way doesn't work for you, you're not going to do it. If you're told to make 50 phone calls a day and you hate making phone calls, you are going to find every reason in the book not to do it. You're going to unload your dishwasher 100 times before you pick up the phone and start making phone calls. It's true.
It is.
So you've got to find a way, something's going to work for you. And that's what I like a little bit about our business planning book that we have for you guys. Is it simplifies a lot of these big ideas into, like you said, more of a simplistic nature that you can make it so, okay, let me pick some stuff that works for me. What are some goals? So what are my goals after a year? Let me put those in here. So what's my one thing? So what are, what's the lifestyle I want to have? So maybe you reach that after a year, maybe you don't, but at least you have some goals that you're working towards. You talk about, okay, now that I have my goal, is it a SMART goal? I'm sure most of you have heard the SMART acronym for when you're goal planning. That's one of the ones that I really like because it's super important to not just throw out a goal, but how is it that I'm going to attain it? And that's some of the information that's in here is walking you through that.
Can you tell them what it is? For those that don't?
So SMART goals, you got, so the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And so you pick yourself a goal, and if it doesn't fit into one of those categories, or if you can't define it through that SMART acronym, then you need to go back to your goal and think, okay, what is it do I need to tweak about this goal? Is this a goal, or is this or is this something else? And that is going to be something that's important when you are going through your business planning. So this booklet's not an end-all be-all course. It's just a complement to the other things that you are learning, your coaching, your GPS, your 411. And if you fill it out and then you set it aside and don't do anything with it, then it may have given you some ideas for now, but you're gonna forget about it. So I love the 411 that Tanya talked about in terms of, okay, we're gonna fill this out, and then when we come back each week, we're gonna review it, and I'm gonna ask you about it. Did you do it? Why not? So that kind of thing. So again, it's the thing that you're gonna do that's gonna make it most impactful. And sometimes you may just need an accountability partner. Having your coach, having Tanya, having somebody that you're accountable to is important. Tanya can't necessarily always be everybody's accountability coach. Sometimes it's better to just have another agent that you're working with. I know you are, but
At least for 40
maybe you
of them.
have right. So 40 is a lot of agents, though.
I know,
right?
and I
To
have
keep
more
track
coming
of.
in.
Exactly. So,
But I have some going out because they're graduating soon.
exactly. What do they do after they graduate? You
They
need
go
the accountability
flounder.
partner.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't
Yeah.
flounder. You still get us. We're still
Mhm.
here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, but maybe you pick an accountability partner, another agent you're graduating
Mhm.
with. And each week you pick a date that you call each other, or pick a day that you call each other on. Okay, on Tuesday, I'm going to call you, or you're going to call me, make sure that we've gone through our stuff for that week. So go ahead and
How many, I'm gonna ask real quick
Sure.
too, because we had a plan on this class.
Mhm.
How many did come to the business planning clinic? And let's see, Brian, you did, right? And how many completed their business plan? Almost, awesome. Megan, you did it. Brian, did you do your business plan?
Yeah, I did.
Are you not happy about it?
I am. I just need to like elaborate on it, I think still.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, did Austin get these documents up on there for you, the GPS and the 411?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, I found it to print it, but I couldn't find it to upload that fast because you should see my desk. But on the GPS, and you guys hear it, I'll have these in my cubbies outside my room. It actually gives you guys like a sample GPS. So launching my business through a sphere of influence and referrals, and ideally that's our end goal, right? That we always want to have a referral business in the sphere of influence, because it's easier to achieve than paying for leads and getting leads and trying to turn them, because those are super long. They're great to have, but they're super long. And the best business, the most organic business, is your sphere of influence and referrals. So on this sample one that you guys here have, the 3 priorities is to build your database, feed your database, and systematically touch your database. So we talked about that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The SMART plan.
Mhm.
So, and then so those are the 3 priorities that are going to help you achieve your goal. So this is how you're going to look at your main GPS sheet. And then it breaks it down by the strategies. What strategies are you going to do to be able to get that priority? So like building my database, create a list with everybody that I know. Everybody already has that list. It's called your smartphone, right? This is your database. Just because you upload them and put them into your CRM doesn't mean that they're going to be contacted. You have to put them into something to get them contacted, right? But it's a great way to like start your database and then start feeding through it and filtering it. Access command and familiarize myself with the contact section to understand how it is to enter contact and do all that. Upload a current list of contacts and add additional SOI contacts. So as you meet people, you add them in. Organize them. We talked about tags, right? System tags. What tags do I use? I think you brought it up too the other day, right? And it's in here. The A team, B team, and C team. We call it A, B, and C, or 1, 2, 3, right? Your top people, your next people, and then everybody else. And so just like on this is some really great ideas, and then you guys can turn that into, okay, so it's like what activities, your strategies, or what actual activities do I need to do to be able to achieve that priority of building, feeding, or touching my database. And no, it doesn't have to be all database. It can be whatever it is that makes sense to you to build your business, right? Like Masha, one of these is going to be your blog, because that's how you're reaching your people, right? So then it's like, okay, building my blog, what strategies do I need to do to be able to build it and get more followers, right? So that's where you got to like really think. So you guys have a whole week, and only 1 week. You're like a week and a half to work on your GPS. It doesn't have to be perfect when we meet again, but we can at least start to do something to start working on this, and we can build this. If you have one thing on here, it's okay. We can work on it and we can build it. We can sit and talk about what are those things that you want me to do. So who wants to share what they've already done? Not you? Megan, do you want to share yours? Brian, do you want to share yours?
Share what? What their one thing is?
Well, they went to the business planning clinic. That was 2 full days of going over everything. And I have these, so if you guys ever want a copy, but it's kind of like, this is every October, we do the business planning clinic. And it's preparing you for next year, right? And then we take these goals and we're actually going to go put them inside of Command. So every time you log into Command, your goals are going to be sitting right there in your face, telling you how many more contacts you need to touch. How many appointments do I need this year? And then you can toggle it and switch it to this month. And then you can take that month and you can break it down. Your 411, 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. Make sense? They're pretty smart, aren't they?
411.
411, 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. And the GPS, goals, priorities, and strategies. Some people call it the 1, 2, 3, 1 goal, I mean the 1, 3, 5, sorry, 1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. So you hear it all different ways throughout. If you go to KW websites or Facebook groups or whatever, different trainings that we'll have, they'll mention them different ways. But ultimately they're the same exact thing and they've been using it for years and it works.
As you're completing that and working on that, especially when you're doing your GPS and you're thinking about your goals, priorities, and your strategies, one of the tools that are part of this packet, and you can drag that one over, it's things to do today. So if you're having a hard time as you're brainstorming, thinking of different strategies, then this is a good reference sheet, because again, not everything's going to work for everybody. So you got to find that works for you.
You could tie this. You guys remember that marketing sheet that we did that had the 3 columns? The prospecting, the marketing, right? Free, money, and then the bulk down the middle. Tie these activities to some of those that are in those columns. Go ahead, Sai.
Wear your name badge everywhere. I like it.
I know nobody really does that anymore. Yeah, Robin always wears a name badge. It's old school, you guys. Like, well, we used to have, it was crazy. They never, when I moved here, they didn't have it. Every single week we went to the RMLS, ours was MLS, and we had weekly meetings and everybody wore their name badges and we went on broker tours and, you know, any classes we had, any meetings we had, everybody wore their name tag. And it was so that you could just right off the bat. I mean, it's really good because then you see things. So think about a name badge more if you're doing an event.
Yeah, like open house would be.
Right?
Right.
An open house would be super effective.
You're sponsoring an event, maybe,
Events.
community event,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Door knocking? Maybe, right? Maybe. Hi, I'm Tanya. No, I'm just kidding. I think more of an event type space is where you would do it.
Well, and part of the idea is if you're wearing it, even if it's just in regular day, people may ask you about it. So,
the other thing you do instead of actually like a name badge, get some KW gear, right?
Yeah.
The hat. Do you still have my hat? Don't
Yes,
you?
I have it. I watched it.
Have shirts, you guys, that have the KW on it, or the ones that the real estate life. I have a real estate life hat and I wear that all the time when I'm camping or just running to the store on the weekends. And I have, when I went to family reunion, I bought some KW pants. So it's KW, really big, Killer Wings Realty down my legs, right? Yoga pants, super comfy. So, because when I'm at home, I don't dress. I bet no one does, right?
if you're wearing your name badge though,
People can see your name.
turn it upside down.
Oh, that would be
It's
smart.
some
People-
engagement.
People are going to tell you it's upside down. There's your conversation
And then they're
opener
gonna
right
think
there.
that
Oh, hey, you know your name badge is upside down.
Don't work
Oh,
with that
yeah,
person.
thank you. Uh-huh.
That's good.
I know, Josh.
It works.
I don't know if I'd want to work with someone that didn't wear their badge.
Yeah, it works. It works.
No, this is great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it's a brainstorming idea again
Start
to complement.
Or attend networking events, right? We've talked about it. Find something you guys love to do
Mhm.
because it's a lot easier to actually attend it and go to it. Just like the phone calls. If you don't like picking up that phone and calling people that you don't really know, or even people that you do know, find another way to talk to them, right? So same thing. Don't just attend any networking groups. Go find something you love to do and join that,
Right.
because then it becomes easier to have those conversations about real estate.
Sometimes it takes reverse engineering these planning, you don't have to start at the beginning of, your packet. You can look at it and be like, well, gosh, I don't really know what my lifestyle I want it to look like, or I don't know what my end goal needs to be, but I know that I like doing a couple of these things. So let's start there and I'll work backwards on my packet. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that particular order, and same with your GPS and 411,
That's right.
work it in the direction that's gonna, allow you the most flexibility to get stuff on paper. It's no different than when we were all in school and we had multiple choice questions, right? Go through, you answer all the ones that you feel comfortable with, and good at, and then you turn around and you go back to the ones that need more time later. So you're not getting stuck in one place. Again, it's about what you're going to actually do versus getting stuck on, stuck in the weeds on something.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of this is what lifestyle do you want? What are how do we describe that? I don't
Hey, lifestyle. Cody, what lifestyle do you want to achieve? Maybe not your first year, maybe 5 or 10 years.
Blast.
What do you want to be?
I want to be financially free, not to have to to have residual income, passive income.
What kind of car do you want to drive?
A Challenger, a Dodge Challenger.
Just like my son. What kind of house do you want to live in?
Honestly, just a big enough house for me, I guess. I don't need a mansion or anything, but
He's a single young guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to change in 5 years. Ask Cody the same questions. They're going to be completely different answers.
I'm gonna be driving a Dodge Challenger, so I won't be wanting to drive one.
That's right. There you go. There you go. But I mean, that answer is going to be different for
Right,
everyone.
Masha? What's your lifestyle that you want to have?
Well, I think, financial freedom, but I find it difficult because I'm married and it's not like, I'm more of a supportive role, I would say,
Yeah.
to my husband. So I want to be able to do more investing. That's my goal, and flipping because I design as well. So
Yep.
that's where I want to be. So I don't know. Yeah, that's where I struggle with the goal. So
But that's still good, right? So we just you need to figure out how much do I need?
Right, exactly.
And then we can go
And
backwards.
that's-
If you guys come to me with a number, we can go backwards and figure it out.
Okay.
So easy to do.
That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah,
and
so
I
just
know I want to go.
Know what you want to achieve your
Yes.
first year, right? So lifestyle. Let's go online. Matt, what's your lifestyle you want to achieve?
Well, being very new in this, I just want to get established and figure this out and, make an income. But I think I'm more thinking the long-term goals and getting there.
So long-term, 10 years, what do you see yourself?
I definitely see myself established and comfortable, and I guess I'm kind of not thinking about the financial side of it right now. I'm really just focused on figuring this out and being successful at the beginning.
You guys are all that way right now. Let me tell you that. Okay. Lifestyle. I want to win the lottery and I want my own island that's set up for scuba and a couple houses that my family can be on. I found an island. I told my husband he needs to make the money to get us there. Right? It's only 8 mil. That's the lifestyle I want to have. Okay. That's lifestyle, right? Everybody's lifestyle is at different levels.
You can get an island for $8 million.
In the Bahamas, 3 houses, 4 boats already set up for scuba.
There you go.
The downfall, it's my husband's excuse why he wouldn't buy it for me. It doesn't have internet. I said, hun,
We're gonna be underwater.
if we could buy an $8 million island, we can get internet there, right?
So
Yeah. But so achievable.
yes.
I just have to work my butt off for it or get really lucky and win the
You
lottery.
hit the
right?
lottery, yeah.
Right. My dad keeps praying that I'll do it so that I can support him in the lifestyle that he is accustomed
I don't
to.
know that that's a relevant goal. So,
It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
No, that's why I said I need to
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
my butt off
Tickets
if I
every
really
day,
want to
3
achieve
times a
that.
day.
Yeah.
So instead I tell my husband he needs to achieve that at
Yeah.
income. Anyway, that's lifestyle, right? Whatever is the picture. And if it's a picture that you just see in 5 years, it's a picture you see in 5 years. Everybody's goal, like I said, Cody's goal that he has in 5 years, life happens. You never know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Cody could fall in love and have a kid in 5 years, and his goal could completely change, right? We never know what's going to happen in our lives. So your goal, even though we set it today, doesn't mean that it's going to actually happen. We're looking at financial, what can we achieve here in real estate in our first year? Attainable goals, but give yourself something that you want to do that gets you driven every day, right?
Absolutely.
Next.
Yeah.
Where
So.
are we at? Okay, we're good.
Well, you already touched on that. Why don't you scroll down to the 5 pillars of success here?
You want an
So,
example first?
yeah, so let's put up the example. Sort of have yourself in the middle, right? We talked about having your team. So you've got your lender team. I could fill that spot in for it if you want.
Here you go. Referral partners,
Referral partners.
right? You should also have, like, in your referral partners, you should have financial advisors,
Mhm.
CPA, attorney, like anything that you can help with, painters. We talked about that one in our other classes.
This is going to be some of the stuff you're going to put in here is going to be the same thing that you do on your GPS, and similar to sort of that strategy brainstorming slide that we put up earlier. So, these aren't going to be the same for everybody. You're going to fill in, again, sort of what works for you. And this, you've got a similar type of thing for the circle of referral excellence. If anybody has seen that, you put your client's name in the middle here. So you get your client, you have a client, you did a great job with them, they really like you, you put their name in there. Well, great. Who can they introduce you to? Friends, their CPA, their insurance person, so on and so forth. So it's a lot easier to get warm introduction from people who already like you and that you did a good job for than, going at it cold. So same idea. Use that for, your referral excellence, sort of outline as well. And then go to the, drag over that other one. No, not that. Well, yeah, that's fine. No, but click on this one here. Yeah, maximize that. So this is a daily tracker, and there are many daily trackers that people can use.
This is great. I love
Yeah,
it.
so this is one that's similar to the one that I use. So once you have your GPS, once you have your 401, once you have sort of put down what your monthly, weekly, and daily activities are, this is sort of a accountability tracker.
This could be
I
week
guess, if
one.
you will.
Right?
Mhm.
You can bring this, print out 4 of these every month, and then use each one for each week. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Granted, there's 5 weeks in some months, just kind of drag it over, right?
Right. And I mean, you can, your activities and stuff can be a little bit different here. So if you're doing open houses, you can put those down there. If you do an event that you sponsor, if you go door knocking, if you're making, phone calls every day, who are you making them to? Thank you cards, face-to-face meetings, so on and so forth. You can sort of tailor this to the activities that you're going to do. But this is just something that will keep you accountable to actually doing them. And then as you call your accountability partner, Tanya, whoever else is helping you, then you review that each week. We've got an internal Facebook group that we post ours to as sort of an accountability piece. It's a private internal Facebook group, and the folks that are sort of coaching through this program, that's part of our accountability. We upload it each week, and gosh, you don't want to be the one that uploads one that's that looks like this blank. So
You better tell me you were on vacation that week.
right. So anyway, just another tool. Again, there are lots of similar trackers, but this is one that I like and works for me. But again, the one that you use is sort of my theme.
Right.
Is going to be the one that that you want to work with. let's see, we sort of bounced around the packet a little bit, but
It's fun that way.
yeah, so, you've got your, hold on, let me see, go back to page 6, the keep, start, stop. Again, another, common, business practice that people do, keep, start, stop. I like this. I do it every year. Sometimes I do it more than once a year. And, what should I keep doing that's working well? What should I start doing that I'm not doing that I think will work well? Again, back to the, back to the slide that has some ideas. And stop. This one's almost probably the most important for me right now, because I love to get into the weeds on stuff. I'll start something and then I'll think, dang it, this should work. Why isn't it working? I'm going to keep doing it over and over again. And even if it's not working. And so that's where this is important. Okay, maybe I should stop doing this, even though I am stubborn and think that it should work. I keep doing X over and over again. So it's very important because this will help you get out of the weeds. I just did this a couple of weeks ago and I was like, yeah, God, I did that for the entire year.
I'd say quarterly you
yeah.
should do this.
Mm-hmm.
At
And
least.
yeah, absolutely.
Right? Especially if it's something that costs you money.
Exactly.
That really needs to be looked at monthly.
Oh,
How's it working for me this month? Am I getting anywhere with it?
right. And you may get a deal out of
Do I
it,
need to give it another month?
but how many deals did you miss because you were just in the weeds
Yeah.
over it? Like I've got some loans that I've just determined to get this person, into, and, I may be successful at it after a few months of just, working on it, but how many hours did I have to put into that deal in order to, get it to work, where I could have been helping, my referral partners build their business, bring in additional, clientele rather than, spending that time in the weeds. So, again, you may start something that somebody said, oh, you should be doing this. And I'm like, okay, great, but I hate doing it, but somebody said I should be doing it.
Or you don't find the time to do it.
Right. So then,
Right.
so definitely quarterly. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So
That also gives it a little bit of time to work, right? And then, because if you buy something and it's not gonna work no matter what in 1 month, right? You need a couple of months for it to actually come through and actually start showing up as a transaction. 'Cause we all know, we get a client, might not buy or sell for 6 months, so you might not even see it for 2 quarters, right? But if they're in your pipeline, and we know it's potential, have them talk to a lender, they only need to do these couple things and it's achievable for them to do it, they're a potential transaction, right?
yeah, absolutely. So, and you'll have obstacles that you run into, what are those? Write them down. How do you eliminate them? Or do you have to go back to the stop and say, you know what, there's too many obstacles with this, strategy. I'm just going to take it off of my GPS. It's not going to, it's not going to work for me. Oh, identifying those things.
What are some examples?
No, I don't know. What are some examples you guys have run into already that are obstacles? It's a good question.
Trying to find clients.
Trying to find clients. So that's where you circle back to the strategy brainstorming things to do today and say, okay,
What can I do different?
what can I do different? What's something off of here that might stimulate, my ability to find clients? So this business can be really inconsistent, right? So, but proper planning and working through your plan is sort of how you build consistency. So learning how to build consistency in an inconsistent business will help you avoid those ups and downs, those pitfalls, and start bringing in clients. Again, it's about what is going to work for you. It's not going to happen overnight. When it does, it's great. But
Right. It takes constant communication. Period.
Absolutely.
A lot of agents, their first year, they get a transaction, they get super excited, they dive all in on that transaction, especially once the inspection period comes around, because that can get overwhelming and they want to do the best for their client and then they forget calling all the other people or sending emails or anything else. And then when they're finished with that, now they're like, oh, I don't have anything pending. And then they go back and guess what? The buyer that you forgot to call 2 weeks ago, they bought a house with another agent. Happens all the time. So you've got to remember and use command. It's there for you to make sure that you're constantly talking to them, right? Setting a reminder for you. Send a quick text, quick call. How's it going? Did you see that last house? Yeah, I know nothing's coming up that looks like you. Whatever it is, have a conversation with your people and don't forget so that now you can have more of a steady straight line instead of the up and down. And if it starts going up, which we all in this program should be going up, fantastic, right?
That's sort of what the daily tracker's for, right?
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah.
yes, you have to be all in on that client. In fact, you want to be, because that's where you get those little circles there and put their name in the middle and they feel
Yeah.
good about you and you can fill those in. But your daily tracker is to help you, you know, make sure that you do the daily things that Tony just talked about to make sure that your business remains consistent. And one thing that isn't in the packet or we haven't talked about yet that is extremely important in making sure that you do these things is time blocking. So it's, again, I love to get in the weeds on stuff and be like, oh my gosh, this transaction's killing me. I got to do it. And I'm going to skip my hour of calling today or whatever. So you need to put in your calendar, put in your phone calendar, command, or whatever it is you're using. Put that hour in, 2 hours, whatever it is that you need to get these activities done. Time block them and protect that time. Don't schedule other stuff around it. If you know that your market center has certain weekly things that are scheduled during that time, don't schedule it during that time, you know, but schedule it during a time that you know is going to work. It's going to be effective and that you can stick to it and protect that time because that time is important. That fire can wait 1 hour. Where you saw me run over there and start texting people right there for a second. That was me trying to put out a fire that I probably should have waited on. So, you know, but
there are some things that you're going to have to stop and like something serious. But what if it's 7 o'clock at night? You're out to dinner with your family or friends or whatever, and you get a call, a text message from a client that's freaking out about something with a loan. So, is the bank open? No. Is there anything that you can do other than appease them, right? To help them that evening, that instant, I should say. If it can wait, text them in an hour after your dinner, an hour and a half later. Set the expectations up front when you first meet your clients, especially those with family. My working hours are from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever it is. I have kids, I have to pick them up from school at 3 o'clock. And then I get them all settled in. I'm available again at this time, right? If you set those expectations up front, they'll appreciate it more, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, totally get it. We have kids too, right? If they don't appreciate it and they want you available 24/7, is that the client you want to work with? Right? When I started out, I wasn't given any of this advice and I was helping friends with buying a house. I was at their house at midnight at their kitchen table writing an offer because they didn't want to miss out on it. Midnight, you guys, seriously, midnight.
They were friends.
They were friends. Because they were friends, I went out of my way,
Yeah.
right? To treat them just like every other business. I shouldn't have had to been there at midnight, writing an offer on a house that we saw 2 days ago that they weren't sure they wanted. And now all of a sudden, we want it. Can we write the offer? Can we get it? Do you think the agent on the other side was going to get the offer that night and respond to me?
No.
Hell no. Right? So like, think about that. If I'm out to dinner or if I'm at church, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to talk to a client. I'll get back to them and I'll say, hey, So I was at church, right? Or I was having dinner with my family. And what can I help you with? Lender's not available. We can't do anything about it. Banks aren't open. Title's not open. Whatever it is, it can wait until regular working business hours. Don't forget that.
I'm available outside of regular business, working hours.
And that's why we talked about having a team, right? When you have a team that you have available to actually help you outside hours, because there might be something, if you're showing a house on the weekend and there's something crazy with the easement, or there's something mentioned in MLS that you need clarification on, if you have an escrow officer in your back pocket on your team, you can call them. I used to call mine all the time and say, oh my gosh, what's this? How do I deal with this? Because we had a lot of crazy stuff in Montana. And I always had a lender. It was my best friend, so that was easy, even easier. But having a lender that you can call in the weekend or in the evenings with that there's an issue, or he can call you and say, I have an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess if I would have to, sum up a little bit of a theme, for my side is, definitely, pick something that's going to work for you. Make a plan that's relevant, that sort of hits the SMART, goal, put it on your GPS, do all those things, have yourself an accountability partner or coach, somebody that you're, feel accountable to, other than yourself, because sometimes it's easy to not do it for yourself. And time block, extremely important to build, that consistency, in an inconsistent world. Once you have a team, or once you have a plan, it doesn't necessarily mean that plan can't change. Of course it does. That's what the keep, start, stop is for. You've got to be able to, grow in this business, as will your plan. But you have to start somewhere. So build a plan, stick with it, circle back and look at it again, monthly if you feel like you need to, especially as you're, first getting started, and then just continue to build on it, from there.
Does anyone have any questions about their plans that they're already working on, or how to even get started with their GPS or their 411?
How do you get started on your GPS?
Right here. and right there.
I like this worksheet. I feel like it really simplifies it, and then the examples.
Yeah, right, just to kind of get an idea. And then, can you go to that one sheet that has
Yeah,
all the,
I was gonna say the things to do today.
all the samples?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great one. You guys, you have that one, the marketing, right? Marketing and prospecting, and then the both. It's narrowed down like specific activity or item, and then you can figure out what activities you could do with that. So I'm like, this could pair really well with that, to give you a little bit more definition of those. But tell you the one thing, let's just figure out what you want to do for the first year, and then that's going to drive you. That's going to make you go, okay, I need to do this, right? That's ultimately what it is. And then we can sit down and figure out what those priorities are and the strategies. Anybody else? Matt, Jared, or Maddie, what do you guys think?
This is all really good stuff. Where can I get like that things to do today checklist?
Oh, did we get these uploaded into?
I emailed them to you,
Okay.
and to Austin.
I'll email them to you guys. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank
And
you.
I'll have them printed for those of you that are already here at the office. I'll have them printed out and in my little cubbies outside my office door. Okay. Cool. We have 3 minutes, and then we have the lovely Shelley from Lawyers coming in to go over. Are we doing the preliminary title report? I mix it up. I never know which one I'm gonna do.
Surprising.
Oh, yay. So if you guys want to hang on and listen and find out about that, you're more than welcome to. It's the documents that you get from escrow once you go pending on a transaction, and kind of in depth how to read it, how to understand it. the importance of it, and Shelley is amazing. So no one better to teach us. And it's an escrow officer that you could learn to love and want on your team. Sorry, my phone.